Guru, the dollar, suffered a renewed sell-off on Wednesday, with a key dollar index falling to a 3-year low after U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said a weaker greenback is good for trade. How do you, the finance guru, see a weak dollar?
He's not wrong in making that statement. Whether he should have made that statement is another matter, but let's first define what a weak dollar is. A weak dollar is when the U.S. dollar's value is decreasing compared to one or more foreign currencies. So essentially, a weak dollar means that the U.S. dollar would be exchanged for fewer amounts of foreign currency. Now, the strength or weakness of the U.S. dollar generally has the biggest impact when it comes to international trade. So let's examine why the Secretary of the Treasury may have said that a weak dollar is a good thing, because it would make U.S. exports cheaper and easier to sell around the world. So a weak dollar means that we should be having our exports increasing, and let's keep in mind that that was something that President Trump has been focused in on pretty heavily. As a matter of fact, we also, you may remember that the president was accusing China and, quite frankly, berating them because they were artificially keeping their currency weak in order to sell more goods at lower prices around the world. So the Chinese weak currency was hurting U.S. exports. And that's part of, again, why Steve Mnuchin made this comment. Now, let's also look at why a weak dollar isn't necessarily a great thing. Well, it's going to mean the opposite of a weak dollar in that when the U.S. is bringing in imports, they're going to be more expensive for American consumers. So there is going to be an inflationary aspect of this. Now, of course, we want to sell more American products, but the fact of the matter is we do rely on imports. So if the dollar is weak, imports are going to be more expensive. So my view is this: you can't look at one moment in time. If the dollar right now is weakening, it will revert as long as there's no artificial playing around with the value of the dollar. It's weak at one point, it ebbs and flows, it'll become stronger at another. I wouldn't get too concerned, but probably the Secretary of the Treasury's comment was meant in terms of right now, in the way the U.S. economy is going, we want to have more exports, and a weaker dollar is going to assist in that process.